Namo Amida Buddha, the true disciple of Amida and all Buddhas. As I've already explained, Shinran Shonin taught that the true reason for all Buddhas' appearance in the world is to help sentient beings entrust to Amida and be born after death in his Pure Land, where they can easily attain nirvana. Thus, the logical conclusion he drew from here is that the person who has faith in Amida is the true disciple of the Buddhas because he is in accord with their innermost intent. He said, quote, "The true disciple of the Buddha means this. True contrasts with false and provisional. Disciple means the disciple of Shakyamuni and other Buddhas, namely the practitioner who has attained adamantine faith or Shinran. Because one certainly realizes great nirvana with this faith and practice, one is called a true disciple of the Buddha." End quote. It is of great wonder to me why so many Buddhists of our days use their precious time in human form to try to achieve something for which they have all the chances to fail, that is, perfect enlightenment, when they can simply entrust to Amida, go to his Pure Land after death, and instantly attain perfect enlightenment there. Is it really wise to use our extremely short time and futile attempts to become a Buddha in this life when all we have to do is let Amida carry us to his enlightened place, where there are no obstacles and where everything is automatically conducive to enlightenment? It becomes very clear why Shinran said that all those difficult practices of the self-power path, esoteric or exoteric, are just provisionary teachings for those who cannot yet follow the simple path of faith in Amida Buddha. Sometimes even advanced practitioners can't see the most simple truth. Because people complicate their minds, then complicated practices and teachings were given to them to keep them focused on the Buddha Dharma until they may become open to Amida's simple message of salvation. Quote, "Entrust yourselves to me, say my name, and wish to be born in my land." End quote. That is the primal vow of Amida Buddha. According to the 17th vow, all Buddhas say the name of Amida Buddha, so all Buddhas, no matter what practices or teachings are associated with them, are ultimately teaching the primal vow. That is, entrust yourself to Amida, say his name, and wish to be born in his Pure Land. It takes a longer or shorter time for the various disciples and practitioners of many paths and Dharma gates until they realize the main intention of Shakyamuni and all Buddhas when they finally do what they will all entrust to Amida, say his name, and wish to be born in his Pure Land. All Buddhas point to Amida's primal vow, and all Buddha lands are connected to the Pure Land of Amida Buddha. This is the most profound truth which very few are able to accept. Those who can accept this are called true disciples, while those who cannot are called provisional disciples. All practitioners who follow the various Buddhist methods of the self-power path, that is, the path of sages, or enter the Pure Land way, but do not rely exclusively and totally on the power of Amida Buddha, are included in the category of provisional disciples. Quote, "Provisional disciples refer to practitioners of the path of sages and those who practice meditative or non-meditative good of the Pure Land way." End quote. False disciples refer to those who follow non-Buddhist practices and teachings. Shinran Shonin explained, quote, "False disciples refers to the adherents of the 62 views and the followers of the 95 wrong paths. The Nirvana Sutra states, the world-honored one always preached, all non-Buddhists learn the 95 wrong teachings and fall into the evil realms. Master of Guangming Temple said, the 95 wrong teachings all defile the world. Only the Buddha's single path is pure and tranquil." End quote. Urging us to become true disciples, Master Shan-tao said, quote, "Abandon the teachings that Amida Buddha abandoned. Observe the practice that Amida Buddha observed, and leave the practices that Amida Buddha left. This is said to be in accordance with the teaching of Amida Buddha and in compliance with the intent of Amida Buddha. Such a person is referred to as the true disciple of Amida Buddha." End quote. We must abandon everything which is not mentioned in the primal vow of Amida Buddha, where only faith, saying of the name and faith, and wish for birth in the Pure Land are taught. If we do this, we are in accord with Amida's primal vow, and we are his true disciples. Any Buddhist practice or teaching associated with it, which is not mentioned in the primal vow, like various meditation methods, mantras, etc., should not be followed, because they do not lead to birth in the true fulfilled land of the Pure Land. This does not mean those practices and teachings are bad. Being part of the various Dharma gates, they are all perfect and good in themselves, but I repeat, they are not leading to the Pure Land of Amida Buddha because they are not mentioned in his primal vow. This is the only reason we should not follow them. The true disciples of Amida and all Buddhas constitute the Shinran aspect of our Sangha, Arya Sangha of Jodo Shinshu, which is the third object of refuge in the three jewels, according to the Jodo Shinshu teaching, as explained in the previous chapter. Namo Amida Buddha.